Alright, boys. Today we got another cut content from AniNews. Shout out to AniNews. Thank you so much, AniNews, for the cut content once again. Today we have EMILIA'S true power and the betrayal you missed in the anime? Okay. Let's see what we got today, bro.
For the first time in over 40 episodes, we finally got a glimpse into EMILIA'S true potential.
Yep.
It was such an astounding display of power that even Echidna couldn't help but comment on how Pandora was completely outmatched by it.
Ooh, your younger self outstripped Pandora in simple terms of power. Is that actually like just fully true? I mean, yeah, right? Pure power, but in abilities and all that, I guess obviously fucking not. That's interesting though. In terms of power, Emilia crash out mode, man. Emilia crash out mode went crazy, huh?
But with such an immense affinity for magic, there also came the issue of not being able to control it.
Yeah.
Resulting in an outburst of mana on a scale that we've only ever seen once before.
The issue, yeah, exactly. Yeah, fucking shout out to Memory Snow, man. Absolute peak. I think that, yeah, the issue with that, she pretty much beat her in power, right? She had way more power. It's just the control aspect is so important. The fact that she wasn't able to control her power like that, that's such a big fucking issue. So, I mean, in the end, it didn't really matter, right?
So let's take a look at that plus all the other excluded details as we go through the cut content for this episode.
Let's go.
Let's begin. Episode 44, The Eternal Freezing of the Great Elior Forest, covering chapters 4 and 5 from volume 14 of the light novel. Starting from the end of last episode, Pandora's initial encounter with Emilia put a significant emphasis on her excitement. There was a genuine expression of joy that could be seen on her face when Emilia said that she was going to open the seal. She looked as if she could barely contain her impatience anymore. It was a far different look from what we'd seen from her in the earlier encounters. On the other hand, Emilia's mind began to empty as she became overcome by feelings of fear and despair, eventually getting to the point where she was willing to use just about anything to escape the predicament she was in. So, when Pandora gave her exactly what she was looking for, Emilia was able to easily accept what should have been nothing more than an incomprehensible statement.
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't really much else she could do other than try to make sense of the words Pandora gave her.
Yeah, also, a very important thing to keep in mind, this is a kid, right? Like, I guess, like, something that I gotta, like, keep in mind is that, like, bro, she's just a kid, right? Like, trying to, like, make sense in her own decision-making skills and what she's thinking in that moment, she's probably so overwhelmed, the poor thing, right? Like, she's probably so overwhelmed, she doesn't know what to do. Like, the whole, like, promise thing, she was willing to die on that hill, too. The whole promise thing, right? Like, she was, like, willing to keep that promise thing all the way to the end. So, I gotta respect that, too, right? The whole keeping that promise, how important a promise is to her, and the fact that she was willing to just go down with the ship, bro. She was like, you know what? I'm keeping my promise, man. I'm keeping my promise to Fortuna, man. No matter what, so, I mean, yeah.
So, that's exactly what she did.
Yeah.
Now, one interesting thing to note about when Emilia produced the key was that Pandora mentioned how there were likely only 2 people in the world that could hold it.
Whoa.
Unlike in the anime. This implies that there's one other person besides Emilia who possesses the proper qualifications to even see it.
Who could that be? 2 people. Okay, I could, like, go off basic stuff and be like, oh, Emilia, half-elf, right? So maybe Satella? Nah, I don't know. I don't think it'd be Satella. Who else could it be? Am I thinking too, like, maybe I'm thinking too, like, narrow, like, too simple? Maybe too simple-minded. Emilia, elf, half-elf. I mean, maybe, like, Subaru? Witch of Envy connection? I have no clue. I'm just thinking of, like, the association between the Witch of Envy or, like, Satella, because she's a half-elf, and the whole, like, authority. I don't know. I really have no idea who could that second person be. I have really no clue, honestly.
It's a particular detail that I think alludes to something bigger, which is probably why it didn't make it into the anime.
Okay.
In any case, there was something about the key that really seemed to resonate with Emilia. It was as if she already knew exactly what it was meant for. Not only that, but just holding the key was an experience that felt very natural to her.
An experience that felt very natural to her? Dude, this is getting a little deeper than I thought, bro. Like, this about the whole key and seal thing in the light novel, I guess, like, went more in depth. So, she already knew, it was as if she already knew exactly what it was meant for? Not only that, but just holding the key was an experience that felt very natural to her. Why? Ah, hell nah, bro. Like, I really could not tell you like any thought that like really comes to my head other than like the fact that maybe she's like a half elf in her blood, or I don't know. Maybe it was like the future that like I don't know. Maybe it was like set in the future that like she was gonna do this, and that's why it felt natural. I have no clue. That's interesting though. Felt very natural. I wonder if that's gonna be like revealed maybe later this season.
Felt like an object that she'd used many times before.
Bro! Object that she's used many times before? Oh, hell no. There's some, like, memory shit, maybe, that we are just not seeing yet. I don't know.
Almost like it was something she could have been using to open up her own bedroom.
Brother.
Contrary to how Olivia felt, though. It would
open up her own bedroom? Is it just her bedroom key, but, like... What, is it just her bedroom key, but, like, it's, like, also the... Does that have to do with the fact that it's imagination? She said, like, if she wanted to see the key, right? I am the key. And then the key appeared. Almost like it was something she could have been using to open her bedroom. What, similar to the bedroom key? That's why it's so natural and why she uses it so many times? I have no clue. That is fucking interesting, though. Huh.
To open up her own bedroom.
That's weird.
Contrary to how Emilia felt, though. It was quite obvious that the seal hadn't been opened in a very long time.
Yeah.
Even the novels went so far as to describe it as this object that has been carrying out a long, long duty.
If she put the key in the keyhole and it will open, then open it would. That was all it would take for the seal to be released from its long, long, truly so very long duty. I always read these because I think it's very cool that like the way I feel like the line novel just like speaks differently, right? Like the way it's written to how like it's set in the anime, right? Like the way like look at like the way they like say it here, like she put the key in the keyhole, it will open. Then open it, it would. Like obviously you can't obviously like put this in an anime, right? In like the anime like way. Like how the hell would you even put like inner thoughts, right? I think that's like what I'm trying to like say here. Like the inner thoughts and like the or like the extra information, you can't really put that in anime. So I think I think that's a really cool thing about the line novels that will always like be lost. So
we can only imagine how much of that time Pandora has spent trying to open it.
The narration, yeah, the narration aspect. I think that's why the line novels are like as information heavy and why they have just so much more context and information. It's just the way that the narration is said, right? Like the way they say things in the line novel just, I guess, gives it more like either mystery, or like the opposite, right? Just like more of an answer, because like you can really see like the what it means, like the narration aspect, yeah.
How much of that time Pandora has spent trying to open it. As Emilia hesitated to do just that, though, we get to the point where she was then offered the two choices of different hopes. To the right was the hope that kept her promise, and to the left was the hope that broke it. Emilia was free to choose whichever one she thought was best. The decision itself was much harder for her than what we were shown, though. The entire time she was thinking about it, her very sense of self was degrading into nothing but her consciousness alone. The sound around her was slowly dissipating from her ears, and any color she could see was fading itself out of perception. The only thing that remained was the single thought of how she was unable to choose. Eventually she did come to a conclusion, though. An answer that was guided solely by the teachings of her mother. That alone was the only hope she ever needed. So it was with those teachings in mind that Emilia chose the hand on the right.
Interesting. That's such a neat fucking detail. The fact that like it was like pretty much her consciousness, like she just started like pretty much blocking everything out, and the decision was way harder. Like it took way longer, which makes a lot of more sense, right? In the anime, it was like kind of like not really quick, but semi-quick. Yeah, it was kind of like fast, but it's cool that like he mentioned that like the whole like it took way longer. Like it was an actual hard decision, not really easy, right?
And when she did, she became surprised by Pandora's apparent acceptance of her decision. I mean, Pandora definitely could have used her power to force Emilia to do as she asked.
Of course.
But the very fact that she didn't showed that there must have been at least a little bit of goodness deep within her. What this really was, though, was nothing more than a compassionate facade. Yes, Pandora was going to respect Emilia's decision, but that didn't mean that she was going to respect anything else. She had absolutely no problems with destroying anything she personally didn't find valuable or worthy of respect.
Exactly, yeah, that makes sense.
Pretty much meant the entire forest. Because Emilia was one of the people she was fond of, though, Pandora had actually acted in a way that looked as if she intended to protect her. You see, when Fortuna appeared from the forest and launched her attack, she wasn't yet aware that Emilia was there as well. So it was very possible that Emilia could have been caught in the crossfire had Pandora not stepped up like how she did.
Let me find out, Pandora. I mean, Emilia's very useful. I mean, I don't think it was like an act of like just pure just because she's nice. I think it was just because, dude, there's two people, right? Two people in the world that can like pretty much do that key shit, like hold that key. So like if Emilia dies there or gets cooked, I mean, that's already minus one person. And maybe Emilia's the easiest option. Because who the hell is that second person then? Maybe the second person's like unavailable or like really far away? I don't know. Because like that second person's a very big mystery.
The novel doesn't explicitly say that this was her intent, but
Pandora stepped forward as if to shield Emilia. Yeah, it's just that's all it was. There's like no real specifics of her true intentions and how she felt. Okay.
Like how she did.
Alright, makes sense.
The novel doesn't explicitly say that this was her intent, but it does make the implication. Anyway, the
implication, I guess. I don't know. Pandora's such an interesting character to me. Like the way that they even like did her face, like I don't know. I can't tell what she's thinking, like how she's feeling, bro. She just seems so like simple, like one face, dude. But we know what she's capable of, man. That girl is something else, bro. The whole fucking memory, like pretty much sealing and changing memories and shit. What happened to the juice, bro? Oh my god.
Anime did a really good job adapting Pandora's death montage. They were pretty much as graphic as the novel described them to be. Then, the following moments between Emilia and Fortuna were identical as well.
Okay.
Where the anime starts to leave out a couple details is after Juice mistakenly attacks Fortuna. The strike itself felt inherently different from the ones he's tried to give before.
Oh, different type of strikes? Like stronger? And look at this illustration, y'all. This illustration is crazy. This illustration is fucking crazy. Oh my god.
That's why he was so sure that this was the time his attack finally went through. As Emilia stumbled over to where her mother's body now lay, the first thing she tried to do was keep Fortuna's silver hair clean. She wanted to keep it as pretty and unblemished as it always was.
Aww.
But the pool of blood that was spreading into the ends of it was preventing that from happening. It also didn't help that Emilia's fingers were covered with blood as well. The more she tried to brush the blood away, the more blotched Fortuna's hair would become as the action just served to spread it even more.
Oof.
Now, when Juice came to the realization of who it was he really struck, the sheer shock of it caused him to dig his fingernails straight into his cheeks.
Ooh.
He then dragged those same fingers down his face with so much force that not only—
Interesting. I like how AniNews did this. He's explaining what he did, and we get like, I think it was episode 15, right? Like when we first saw him. I think this looks like the cave area, yeah. Yeah, he did this exact same shit, dude.
He then dragged those same fingers down his face with so much force that not only did it gouge out his flesh, but it also stripped the nails right off his fingers. His whole face was now covered in blood as he slowly succumbed to the madness instilled by the incompatible witch factor. The only reason he'd been able to maintain his sanity for so long was simply due to his own indomitable will.
Wow, yeah, incompatible witch factor. And the reason that he was able to just keep it together, his sanity, was his own indomitable will? That's it? His will? Willpower alone? You know what? That's fucking impressive. That's actually really fucking impressive. Wow, okay.
But now that the
Juice low-key crazy. Wow, okay.
The important thing keeping that willpower intact was gone. So too was his ability to maintain himself and the deadly sin inside him.
So the reason that he was able to keep it together as well and I guess sanity was because of Fortuna. Fortuna was the main, I guess, reason for his sanity and to keep going. But now that that reason's gone, he finally broke completely, and yeah, that's Portuguese, the complete madness. Yeah.
So this was the moment when the person that was Juice disappeared forever.
Juice is gone.
What remained was simply the broken mind of a being obsessed by love. Switching back to Emilia, there were several thoughts going through her head as she held her dying mother. The first was the upsetting feeling that came with the realization of how much lighter she'd become. You see, so much blood had spilled from the initial wound that there wasn't much left to continue leaking from her body.
God damn!
But the very fact the bleeding had stopped only went to make Emilia think that perhaps the wound was healing. She couldn't help but wonder if this was a sign that her mother was getting better now, as the only thing to come from Fortuna was her steady flow of tears. Emilia tried her best to gather them up as she believed them to be the only thing remaining of her mother's life force.
Oh my,
but the more
sad.
she watched this unfamiliar sight of her mother shed tears and cry for forgiveness, the more she came to realize that the light had already faded from her eyes. She now understood that Fortuna could neither see, hear, nor feel anything around her.
Mike, dude, that is so fucked, dude. Poor Emilia. Yo, kid Emilia, as a kid, you're experiencing that. I mean, can you really blame her for crashing out like that, bro? The crash out mode she went into was fucking insane, dude. Her own mother, bro, dying in her arms like that, and pretty much seeing like every like sense that she has just start like fading away, and just like you talk to her and she's no longer there. Absolutely fucking heartbreaking, man.
She wasn't even able to acknowledge the fact that Emilia was the person holding her. If teardrops truly did carry the power of life like how Emilia believed, though, then it was most definitely her own that brought about what could only be considered a miracle. I mean, Fortuna coming back to her senses was something that should have been impossible. So perhaps it really was Emilia's tears that made it happen.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. Kind of wild that happened, right? Like we saw her, I think in the episode we saw like a little like zoom in on her face. Like her eyes were like pretty much dead, right? Like she was pretty much dead. But then she just came back out of nowhere. I was like, what the fuck? She's good? Like, yeah, I definitely did notice that.
So perhaps it really was Emilia's tears that made it happen. Perhaps this really was what allowed them to be able to share that one final moment together. Because Fortuna could now acknowledge that Emilia was there, it made for the moment she lost her life to become that much more apparent.
Yeah.
Emilia could immediately tell when it happened because her mother's body got even lighter. Oof. She knew that something that should never come out had now left forever. It was after Pandora came to request that the seal be opened again that Emilia finally started to make sense of everything. She was now beginning to understand exactly why the demon in front of her had acted the way that she did. Once everything had been pieced together, she was able to see that Pandora had acted with the sole purpose of getting her to break her promise. That was the only reason behind her mother's death and everything else.
Dude, I think that was the craziest part of the... Bro, that was one of the craziest parts, dude. Dude, in that moment when, like, she died and then she goes, hey, your reason to keep your promise is gone now. You don't got no promises now, right? Like, yo, what the fuck? You just murdered the mom? Bro, imagine what Emilia was thinking, bro. You murdered my mom, and you proceed to tell me, hey, you got no more promises now, right? Like, that's fucked up, man.
It's a revelation that leads us into Pandora's second death montage.
Jesus.
But before we get into this display of Emilia's true power, there was one final thing that Pandora revealed that served to send Emilia over the edge. And that was the involvement of the lesser spirits she so fondly called fairies. Right in front of Emilia's eyes, Pandora had summoned the very same spirits that Emilia had used to find the seal.
It was me! I mean, that does make a lot of sense, though. It was fucking Pandora with the lesser spirits. That explains that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, though.
At first, Emilia was confused as to why they were now on Pandora's side. But the truth of the matter was that they were never on her side to begin with. You see, Pandora had ordered the lesser spirits to help Emilia find the seal. They didn't exactly force her to go there, but they did help in persuading her that doing so would be a good idea. So this entire time, Emilia was pretty much being manipulated.
Damn. Yeah, exactly. They were never on her side. Like, just because they're like right in front of you and they're like leading you somewhere doesn't mean they have automatically good intentions and they come from a good person, right? So like, and also she's a kid, so it's like, oh, cool, fairies, right? Yo, she called them fairies. Like, she doesn't even know the term lesser spirits, so it's like she just followed these fairies that look very cool and very bright and just like, oh, cool, let me follow them. Like, yeah.
As she tried to come to terms with what that meant, she also prepared herself for the rampage she was about to go on. Starting it off with the sculpture of ice and death that we saw in the anime.
Yep.
The next was the stakes of ice that pinned each of Pandora's limbs to the ground. And that was followed by a barrage of attacks from both below and above that would shatter her body into pieces.
Crazy scene.
As for the rest of it, well, that was pretty much as we saw. Every subsequent fatality was becoming more violently creative than the last. But every time Emilia activated one of these icy spells of death, her body would get closer and closer to its limits. So she was basically casting magic that her body wasn't capable of supporting, making it so that every spell only went to strain herself more and more. What exactly was happening, though, was that Emilia was taking in mana at a rate beyond what she could handle. Yes, this did allow her to attack with significant power and speed, But these attacks weren't enough to completely expel all the mana she was taking in.
Okay, that makes sense.
If you've ever seen the Memory Snow OVA, then you'd know that this is a state similar to the one that we saw Puck in.
Yeah, that's crazy. Going all the way back to Memory Snow with that. But yeah, it makes sense, right? I mean, also, dude, like, it was just, at that point, it was just like crashing out, bro. Like, no control, no thought about it, a power that has never been seen before, a power that she's using for the first time. Like, a lot of firsts in that, so it just makes sense why, like, it happened the way it did.
You see, despite Emilia or Puck's very high capacity for mana, they do have some sort of limit to the amount they can carry.
Okay.
And it's when they reach that limit that the mana starts to leak from their body in a form of magic.
Huh. That's actually very interesting the way he, like, worded it here. So, they do have some sort of limit to the amount they can carry. I mean, that makes sense, right? Yeah, they have like a you know, like in like RPGs, bro. You got max mana, bro. You can't, you know, you got a limit, man. Okay, yeah.
It's when they reach that limit that the mana starts to leak from their body in a form of magic.
Yeah.
That's why the mansion became frozen in the OVA, and it's why the forest was becoming frozen right here and now.
Right.
Even Pandora couldn't help but acknowledge Emilia's innate ability. She commented on both her capacity for mana and gate that could manage it. But what was even more interesting was the line that came after. A statement that all but confirmed Emilia's lineage as the daughter of a witch.
AniNews! AniNews, you motherfucker! Emilia's lineage as the daughter of a witch. I mean, at this point, right, before y'all been commenting and from last episode, or this episode, I guess, right? But it's pretty much confirmed. It's probably just Minerva. If you just like cancel everything out, right? No way it's the kids, right? Daphne, the other girl, oh my god, Witcher Pride. I actually forgot her name. Yeah, Witcher Pride. Forgot her name. Daphne, Witcher Pride. Who else? It's not. I don't think it's Echidna, because Echidna also talked to her, and she talked to her, and she was like, "Oh, what are you gonna do?" It's something along the lines of like, "Oh, what are you gonna do, Witch's daughter?" So like, I don't think Echidna will talk to her own daughter that way. So it's not Echidna, and also she has white hair. It's not really silver hair. What else? It's not Satella, because Satella herself is a half elf. Satella herself is a half elf. So like, it would not make any sense if that was the daughter, because then, no, not Carmilla. Witcher Pride. Witcher Pride, not Witcher Lust. The problem is that the time gap does not make sense. The witches died 400 years ago and this 100 years ago. Typhon, right. Damn, I really forgot about Typhon? How the hell did I forget about her name? I don't know, I guess I was blanking, but... True, you make a good point there. The time frames don't really line up, huh? I have no clue. It just makes the most sense as Minerva, though. But like, wait. It would be crazy. It'd be crazy because we didn't know about Witch of Vanity. We just found out about Pandora. What, the Witch of Melancholy, right? That's the one we're missing? I still don't know if I'm saying that word right, but... Melancholy, right? We're missing that. It could be her. I don't fucking know, man. I have no clue, bro, but... it's still a mystery, but... We obviously know she's a lineage of a fucking witch, so... yeah, it would seem a witch's progeny cannot flee from fate. Perhaps you were brought to this forest to make sure your blood continued to slumber. Yeah, I think it's very... I think I love these so much. The way they... Like, the light novel, like, talks about this shit, bro. The narration's so different from the anime, but... I guess it's still a mystery. Still a very big mystery, but... We know. It's a witch, right? Not the witch. No way it's Satella. Makes zero sense. My theory is probably someone took the witch factor after one of the witches died, but who knows? That is not a bad theory. Someone took the witch factor after one of the witches died? Yeah, it could be. That's just a big mystery. Big question mark on that, but at least we know she's like obviously like related to a witch. That's obvious. That's very obvious. We know that, so.
Though it was a comment that Emilia herself couldn't understand.
Yeah.
She still went on to reject it just like how she was doing with every other part of Pandora. The result was an even more uncontrollable outburst of mana. A veritable snowstorm that was increasing in strength with every
She popped the old, bro. She was like, fuck
eventually reaching a level of power that would cover the entire forest in a layer of permanent ice.
Yep.
Now, to give context as to what exactly Pandora did to Emilia here, she basically used her power to make it so that Emilia would forget her very existence.
Okay, so it's more about forgetting her very existence rather than just like the sealing of memories or like changing memories. Emilia literally forgot her own existence, bro. That's crazy. So that's why, like, when she like emerged from the ice, right, as we saw in Frozen Bonds, it seemed like she was like brand new, right? Like she just got born into the world. Obviously, she wasn't just born into the world, but it seemed like it. Like the way she was acting and talking, she just forgot her very existence. Okay.
It was
Crazy.
an action that caused all of Emilia's memories to begin rearranging themselves. Almost like pages of a book were being torn out, then reinserted in areas that didn't belong.
So like the book, pretty much has like AniNews is talking here like that way, like that analogy. Literally all the pages were just like swapped, dude. Random pages, and like the story has no like chronological order. It's just random fucking memories. Okay, that's fucked.
What remained at the end was a mind full of inconsistencies that Emilia couldn't even begin to wrap her head around.
Yeah.
The love she'd been granted her entire life was slowly starting to vanish. And what was emerging in its place was this inexplicable feeling of fear and looming sense of guilt.
God, dude.
That said, there was one thing that remained clear in her memory after everything was done. And that was the fact that she kept her promise. She didn't know what the promise was for or who it was with, but she was well aware that she didn't break it.
So even after all that, she was able to keep that, like, know about the promise, how important that was, and that she didn't break it. My God, the power of love, I tell ya, bro. Hey, power of friendship, love, family. Hey, that might be a meme, but that low-key kind of true, bro. That's just a hey, man, that's crazy.
So this was the last thing she could hold on to as the ice slowly overtook her body, leaving her in a frozen sleep that would span for exactly 100 years.
Yeah.
As the novel goes on to state, it was a century-long slumber that would only end after a certain spirit would find her.
Yeah, we know that. But, like, that's just the inconsistency. That's the issue that I'm having with. Because it's like, 400 years is one thing. But this whole entire shit here is 100 years ago. So it's like, who the fuck are the parents? Who's the witch, man? Who's the mother, bro? Like, that's like the problem, right? Like, I could theorize and start talking about shit. But, like, normally I'd be, like, theorizing and talking as if it was 400 years ago. Which would make zero sense. It is 100 years ago, so I don't know, man. That's just a big mystery right there, man. Fuck.
A spirit who had received life for the sake of only her. A spirit whose existence was dedicated to finding this girl.
Emilia,
Until that time would come, though, Emilia would remain here alone in this icy landscape of her own creation. In the post-trial discussion, Echidna had a little bit more to say about the person she identified as the Witch of Vanity. It would seem that she carried quite a bit of disdain towards her. The first thing she noted was how Pandora had used her ability to rewrite phenomena to change Emilia's memories.
Oh.
Basically confirming that that's what the Authority of Vanity did.
So that's just like the power, like the Authority of Vanity. That's what it does. Crazy. Also, kind of funny how it's mentioned that Echidna despises her as well. Dude, does Echidna like anyone? I guess Subaru, right? The Subaru glaze, but man, yo, every other witch, bro, like a lot of witches, bro, she's just like, yo, I fucking hate that bitch, bro. Damn, also hates Emilia, like, damn, Echidna. God damn.
Though it was definitely a noteworthy ability, Echidna personally found it to be quite distasteful. She despised everything about it and the person who possessed it.
Yo, she's like, yo, this ability's broken. It's unfair, bro. What did I miss? The entire stream, my boy. I'm sorry. It's the we watched the episode. We watched the break time. We're finishing up the cut content now, so yeah. Damn. But yeah, she's pretty much just calling out how unfair this shit is, bro.
What's even more interesting than that, though, was Echidna's comparison of Emilia's power to Pandora's. According to her, Emilia's younger self was far stronger than Pandora in pretty much every way.
Bro, so this crash out mode, this entire crash out mode can beat Pandora in terms of power. That voice crack, y'all didn't hear that, right? That must have been the wind. In terms of power, right? Emilia's power is also a mystery. Where does the bloom on the eyes come from? My guess is that it probably has something to do with her mother's side and her bloodline. True. Of course, right? Emilia's power is still also a mystery in itself. So the fact that like she was able to get that strong, like the amount of power output, stronger than Pandora. Wait, now I can see why y'all said that shit, bro. Yo, I can see why y'all mentioned that like Yo, Pandora's like not even like all that in like the rankings, right? Like because like her feats are also like not like much is shown. But, like, bro, if Emilia like is out here beating Pandora in terms of power, then that's fucking insane, man. I don't know, bro. That's still a mystery, but a lot of question marks still. But I think the biggest question mark is like the obvious, which is the parents, like the witch. Who the fuck is the witch, right?
And that was because Pandora's ability was a bad matchup against Emilia.
But that was due to her being particularly ill, matches against your strengths, and nothing more. I mean, yeah, makes sense.
In pretty much every way. And that was because Pandora's ability was a bad matchup against Emilia's strengths.
Bad matchup,
There was a significant disparity in terms of raw power that made Pandora unable to beat Emilia. Now, after Emilia had accepted the fact that she was the reason for this frozen forest, she also came to understand why it was she'd spent every day talking to the statues of ice. She now knew that it was out of a subconscious feeling of guilt that made her want to atone for her sins.
That's so crazy, bro. This entire thing just gives more context to the entire Frozen Bonds. The dreams that she was having, right? I remember the dreams, like what she was dreaming of, and like those like glimpses of her past. These subconscious feeling of guilt that made her want to atone for her sins, and why she talked to the statues, why she took care of the statues. That's wild. Because I gotta keep in mind, dude, Frozen Bonds, her memories, they're all like, I guess like, you know, like, that's like still after what Pandora did. So like, after what Pandora did with her memories, she still had like these like glimpses and like the dream stuff, and that subconscious feeling of guilt, which is fucking wild, and just gives more context to like what happened and what was happening to her back then. It all connects, bro. It all connects.
When it came time for Emilia to give her answer to the trial, most of the back and forth with Echidna was pretty much the same. Emilia declared with all her heart that she was going to create the ideal world that her mother envisioned for everyone. After she was done, though, Echidna began to compare Emilia to the likes of her mother. Not the one that had cared for her as she was growing up, though. Instead, she was talking about the one that Emilia had never met before.
Bro.
You see, all the harsh words that she'd just used to describe Emilia were the exact same ones that she'd used to describe her real mother.
Exact same ones that she'd used to describe her real mother? So the real mother's like Emilia? Ah, man. Yo, stop, bro. I want to know so bad, man. Stop.
So it was in that regard that she found the two of them to be very similar.
Very similar,
as you'd expect. This sudden topic of Emilia's mother went to catch Emilia by surprise, leading her to ask Echidna if she truly did know her real mother. It was a question to which Echidna replied saying that she did.
And let me guess, this stupid ass witch of greed, Echidna, she's gonna be like, I'm not telling you. Like, come on, man. I know she's gonna say no. She's not gonna say it.
Not only that, but she also said that the reason she gets so emotional when talking to Emilia is partly due to the relationship she had with her mother.
So that's why. That's why. The hate for Emilia and how she feels towards Emilia is mainly because of the fact that she looks, or maybe more like acts like her mother. So like, it's just, I don't know. It's just such a big mystery. Like, listen, okay, I know a witch is her mom, right? It should be, okay, it's not that hard to, okay, my guess would be Minerva, right? I feel like Minerva would make the most sense, but it's like, then like the whole year stuff, 400 years ago, 100 years ago. Yeah, exactly. That means the mom had lived 300 years. I don't know. Like, the one that like really like I could really see like making the most sense is like Minerva, but I don't know. I feel like that would, I don't fucking know, dude. I have no clue. But right here is pretty much just like confirmed why Echidna feels the way she feels when talking to Emilia. You know what I mean? Because like, it's more than just like being the daughter of a witch. It's just the fact that she acts just like the person she knew. So like, because of that, Echidna kind of just sees the mother in Emilia, and she kind of just has like this natural like hate, or like just natural like way of feeling towards Emilia because she knew the mother. So I mean, yeah.
There was something about her envious attitude that Echidna wasn't entirely fond of.
Is that reaching? Envious? Witch of envy? I don't know. At this point, if I see the word envious or envy, I'm gonna take a witch of envy, but obviously Probably not, but man, that's it, bro.
Emilia is partly due to the relationship she had with her mother.
That's it.
There was something about her envious attitude that Echidna wasn't entirely fond of. This was the last thing the two discussed before parting ways at the end of the trial. In the moments after Emilia awoke in the tomb, the carving she put her hand over was the one that said, "I love you."
Oh, nice little detail there. Yeah. We did see that. Like, she put her hand on it, but I didn't know it said, "I love you." Okay.
But
I love you.
The exact character her face landed on when she began to shed her tears was the one that stood for love. Now, the only reason she hadn't let all this emotion out before was because she refused to allow Echidna to see her cry anymore.
I respect it. She pretty much said, "Hey, let me put out this act. All right, Echidna, I ain't giving you no more fuel. Like, you ain't gonna just start like hating on me because I keep crying. I'm gonna hold this in when we get the trial. When everything is said and done, I'll let it all out, bro. It's fine. Yeah, okay. Yeah, fair enough."
Pure stubbornness alone allowed her to suppress her emotions until she was by herself.
Crazy.
She also didn't want to show weakness to any of the others either. So this was the only opportunity she would have to mourn her mother's memory. Anyway, that was everything regarding Emilia's trial.
Okay.
The rest of the episode then skips ahead to after the truth of Sanctuary is revealed.
Yeah.
But since that's a part of the story that still hasn't been shown yet, I can't really talk about it until that part is finished in the next episode.
The truth of the Sanctuary. Yo, I'm fucking hyped for next episode, man.
So all the parts dealing with the past of Sanctuary will be covered next week.
Yep.
Until then, though, as always, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this type of anime content,
AniNews, man, coming in clutch once again. Go to content, as always. Well, that's still a mystery, man. I guess we'll figure it out. I'll figure it out hopefully eventually, bro. That's a very good mystery, bro. I really wonder who the fuck it is, bro. I mean, I was thinking of my gut, it's Minerva. It's just like the inconsistencies in the years of the time and everything. I don't know. We'll see, man. That's gonna be it for today's content. If you're new and you enjoyed, subscribe. Leave a like down below. The full uncut version to all ReZero content will be on Patreon. As always, have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. See you guys.